today. Thank you.
Welcome to Moving Forward, sponsored by MPW Mocklink TV and Mocklink Internet, online at mpw.org. Each weekday morning, our local talk segment brings you the people who are helping move our community forward. Let's start the show.
Good morning, AM 860 and FM 95.1, KWPC. I'm Jordan Davis. Thanks for joining us this morning on this July 11th. It's Wednesday already. I can't hardly believe that we're running right through this week already. So thanks for joining us. Once again, this is Moving Forward, brought to you by Muscatine Power and Water. Experience the best value in entertainment and connectivity with Mocklink Internet and TV from MP&W. New subscribers save big on TV or Internet, and even more when you take both. Learn more at mpw.org. Once again, I'm Jordan Davis. Joining us here in the studio this morning, Krista Regennitter from the Muscatine, Iowa State University Extension Office. Why couldn't I think of that right off the top of my head? Goodness gracious.
It's a big, long
It
thing.
is. It's a long word. I'll just blame it on
Muscatine
that.
County Extension Office.
Yes,
That's
Muscatine
easier.
County Extension Office. Well, thanks for joining us this morning, Krista. Now, this is a big week for the 4-H group as well.
Yes, this is preparation week. Well, you said, it's Wednesday. We're halfway through the week, but that also means we're exactly 1 week out from the start of the Muscatine County Fair.
Excellent.
It starts on next Wednesday. So,
and we're getting pretty excited about it out here. We're Tim and I will be making the trip out every morning, I think, for the most part. And then I'm hopeful that I'm going to get out there for a lot of the grandstand events too, because that sounds like it's going to be a whole lot of fun. So
yeah, I'm excited about some of the new stuff they have coming in.
Mm-hmm. They've got all sorts of things. Brian, as most of you know, Brian was in here this yesterday to talk about the fair as well and all the events that they've got going on. So we're getting pretty pumped for the fair this year, and I'm sure you guys are too. A lot of the 4-H kids. So preparation week is probably only. It's probably only like the most minuscule amount of work that they've actually been putting in over the last several months and however long for.
Well, it depends on kind of if you're talking about if they're showing livestock or the static exhibit. So there's a lot of stuff that happens before the fair even starts. In fact, tomorrow my staff will be out there organizing the 4-H exhibit building and getting everything set up for Monday, because Monday is when the kids do the static. What we call static is the non-livestock exhibits. So any of the communication, photography, visual arts, food and nutrition, mechanical arts, the poster displays, anything that doesn't have a living animal associated with it. So we have all of that going on. That judging happens Monday. So then when people come to the fair on Wednesday, they're actually going to be able to go into the 4-H exhibit building and they'll see the judged exhibits and see what has been picked to go to state fair.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So on this Friday, all the 4-H clubs will be coming up and they'll be decorating their booths. So they each have a theme. Everybody has the same theme. It's from Youth Conference. It's Passport to Adventure. And so then they decorate their booth with that theme in mind. And usually all of them have a picture of the 4-H club members that are in the club booth. And then the items that the kids show will be displayed at that booth. So you can go around and see each 4-H club and kind of what those kids have been up to on the non-livestock end of things. Yep. And so even though he's not going to talk, I have my son Leo sitting next to me, and he is a first-year 4-H'er. So we're working on his visual arts stuff, but he's also going to show in the dog show and the pet show.
Oh, fun.
So, yep, you got to make sure you take your animals in and get the health certificates done. So there is a lot of prep going into Fair Week. And next Monday we'll be there. That'll be probably, we'll be there from early in the morning until the late afternoon with all the kids getting judged. There was last year, I wish I could remember, over 500 exhibits judged on Monday. Yep. So we have different judges in all the different divisions, and our extension council and the fair board, they're great because they put together a fair luncheon for those judges that are spending the day with us on Monday. Tuesday, we'll kind of re-switch everything, get everything set up, so that way on Wednesday morning we're ready to roll.
That's a whole lot of fun. It's so important for these kids to be able to take part in these, and putting together all these exhibits, because it's one, they get to showcase what they've been working on all the last year, whatnot, since the last fair, and kind of just showcase what they can do.
Well, and the big difference between 4-H and the regular open shows is that they're talking to a judge. So the open shows, which I encourage people to look at, because I was not a 4-H'er, so I didn't really understand that anybody in Muscatine County can enter one of the open shows, and you can exhibit your own photography, or if you have littler kids and they're too young for 4-H, they can do arts and crafts and Lego displays and all that in the open show. But the actual item is being judged in the open shows, whereas in 4-H, the exhibitor, the 4-H'er, is also being judged in how they talk to the judge and how they say, what was their plan of what they set out to learn, what did they learn through the process, what was their biggest takeaway,
They do a full presentation.
Well, they sit down with that judge and talk to them, yeah, and so it is a lot more about them describing their learning process and talking about that versus the actual item that they've created, so.
I see. And, it is a lot of fun to be able to enter, even those that aren't in 4-H, to enter a lot of their stuff. Because I used to, for a couple of years, one year I entered my full collection of all the different dinosaur toys and books and whatnot that I had. I entered something like that.
Yeah.
And I entered a fossil collection the one of the other years there during the fair. So it's anything and everything you can think of. It's whatever your interests, your hobbies are.
Yeah, the fair book with all, I don't think they have page numbers, but there are just so many things. And if you're into gardening, if you have some beautiful flowers in your yard, you can enter different flowers in the floral hall, and our master gardeners are the ones who man the floral hall or in there for people if they have questions and that kind of thing. But if you're going to be at the Muscatine County Fair, I always say this to people, stop in the floral hall because it is so amazing, the smell. I mean, not only is it air conditioned, so, that's a good reason to stop in there, but you just walk in and the smell is just wonderful of all those flowers in there, those fresh cut flowers, and that is a really interesting judging to watch because those judges get really into the intricacies of the flower and how it is and all that kind of thing. So the Bucket Brigade is the other one that I like to talk to people about. Do you know about the Bucket Brigade? I don't know
the Bucket Brigade. What's that?
So the Bucket Brigade is basically it's under it's part of the horticulture in the open competitions. But you take a 5-gallon bucket, and there's a theme every year. And this year's theme is Lighten Up. And you plant the bucket, and you decorate it per the theme. And so there's some rules about how heavy the bucket can be. Like you need to put filler on the bottom so it's not just full of soil and that kind of thing. But you can decorate the bucket. And then this year the colors are white, light pink, and lavender. So you want to make sure those colors are displayed with live flowers, but then you can add other things to it to jazz it up along with the theme. And they judge those on Tuesday night before the fair, and then they're put out all across the fair, and they decorate the fairgrounds.
Okay,
so it's kind of neat. So it is a competition, and they do have, premiums and ribbons and all of that. But along with that, I love it because then those buckets are displayed, and they go around and they water them every day, and they make sure to take care of them. But they help kind of beautify the fair with that theme. So we definitely have master gardeners. There's different divisions. There's a master gardener division, but then there are, non-master gardener divisions, and there's junior division. So if you want to do that with your child, and this is not a 4-H show, so anybody can enter that. And those need to be on the fairgrounds on Tuesday night. And there's more information in the fair book if you look under Bucket Brigade. We also have some information at the extension office if you want to stop in. So that's kind of it. I just think that's neat because of then the secondary purpose of displaying them around the fairgrounds.
Yeah, it's that is kind of a different thing for it to be that they get to participate by displaying them rather than being in the floral hall where you'd expect to see a lot of the flowers where people have been putting them. They're out and about throughout the fairgrounds. So that is really cool.
It's a lot of fun. So we have a lot of great stuff going on. If you stop out, there are shows, 4-H FFA shows every day. Wednesday, bright and early at 8 a.m., we have the dog show. Then we have the dairy goat show at 10 o'clock on Wednesday. The meat goat show is also at 2 o'clock on Wednesday. The pet show's at 9 on Thursday. You can come for the swine shows right away at 8 o'clock on Thursday. So throughout, and we have this schedule posted. It's a part of the fair book. What I would encourage folks to do, if you're at all just interested, maybe you weren't a part of 4-H and you don't know much about livestock, go and walk around the barns, and when you see a kid with a 4-H or an FFA shirt, ask them about their project. Ask them about their bucket calf or their sheep or their goat. They want to talk about it. These are animals that they've put a lot of energy into taking care of, and And they're ambassadors and they know that. So feel free just to walk the barns and say, hey, tell me more about, what you've done or what this project did. How do you show this animal? How did you practice? A lot of them have to practice walking their pigs or,
Yeah, that can be tough because it's a pig. It's
exactly.
It's not like training a dog for years and years.
Yeah.
It's so working with those animals. I've gone to a million of those. I had all friends that were farm kids, raised animals, that kind of thing. So I've been in and out of the show barn so many times over the last however many years for the fair. So it is a lot of fun. It's interesting. It's fun to watch them show their animals too. Watch them do the circuit through the show ring and then just you can walk through and you can look at all the different kinds because there's many different breeds of pig and cattle and everything.
Oh my gosh, goats. I think goats is one of them because I help do the programs and I'm like, there's another type, breed, and oh my goodness, there's just. Yeah, there is a lot of, and I want to give a shout out, we have a lot of volunteers that make the fair. We have superintendents, which are the volunteers that are in charge of every show, and they're the ones that make sure that they have all their volunteers lined up. There's just a lot of effort. On Saturday, I don't know if you'll be out there on Saturday, is the ribbon auction, and the ribbon auction is for kids who are showing in the meat animal exhibits, and they actually get a duplicate ribbon, so they don't have to give up their ribbon, but they auction off their ribbon, and then whoever is the buyer can get a picture of that 4-H or FFA member with their animal and the ribbon and can put that on display. But all the money raised goes back to those 4-Hers to help them reinvest into their project for next year, because it's also very expensive to raise, those larger breeds of livestock. And so the ribbon auction is a great way for any business and organization can come and sign up that day and bid on ribbons. And we have an average pool, so we have other donors that just make a straight donation so that we can bring, all the kids will have a base rate that they get through the ribbon auction. And it's just a great way to keep allowing kids to reinvest in being able to do the livestock shows. So
absolutely. And I just want to take a quick moment. Once again, Krista Regennitter joining us here in the studio for Moving Forward this morning. And this part in Moving Forward is brought to you in part by a Comprehensive Rehab. Experience a unique treatment plan designed to provide maximum benefits at Comprehensive Rehab here in Muscatine. So once again, Krista Regennitter joining us here in the studio this morning from the Muscatine, Iowa State Extension Office here in Muscatine. We're glad to have you talking about a little bit about 4-H and the fair and everything that they do just to get ready for it to be happening coming up next week, starting on Wednesday.
Yes.
Like you said earlier, we're a week out, and we're excited. Anything else you really want to tell everyone about the fair?
Well, about the fair, I just encourage you to come. There are those that maybe the Muscatine County Fair isn't an annual thing, and there's a lot of folks that are going to come because it's what they do every year. But if you haven't come to the fair, come out and check it out. I really think it's a great family thing to do. They have the rides. They have some neat new grandstand entertainment thing. I just saw on Facebook. I would encourage you, like the Muscatine County Fair on Facebook, because they're putting some new stuff out. I saw that, and I think it's on Saturday, but don't quote me on that they're going to have a sweet corn eating contest.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, and so there's just some really cool stuff, and I'm on Facebook, I'm seeing them add a lot of those kind of just, kind of little competitions and different things. There's even the guy who does the chainsaw art, you know?
Yes.
And that's amazing.
I love that. I worked with chainsaws my entire life. I love watching them do that because, one, I could never do it, and it's interesting to me to watch somebody run a chainsaw like that.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And make sure that you do maybe go out of your comfort zone, and if you're used to doing just the amusement rides, come over to the livestock end and just walk through the barns, and make sure you stop in the 4-H building. It's air conditioned, number one. The restrooms in there, but you can also just walk around and see all the photography on display, each of the club booths, and some of the stuff that these kids make, like the repurposing or the building, the home improvement stuff. I mean, I've seen headboards, I've seen dog beds built out of repurposed from, old furniture. And there's just some really cool projects that these kids have been working on. And there's always a club that's hosting the booth. So there's 4-Hers in there that you can ask questions to and that kind of thing. We also, in the 4-H exhibit building, we have a silent auction that starts and will end on Sunday. So you can go and put a bid. And all the auction items, each 4-H club is asked to put together a basket. And all that money goes to the Muscatine County 4-H Endowment, which is set up to help, future projects and making sure that if there's a kid that would like to join 4-H that can't afford it, that the endowment's a resource, or if they have a project they want to do that they need some help with, that the endowment is there. So that silent auction, all those funds go to our endowment, and there usually are some really nice baskets, and that's right in the 4-H building, so you can come look at that. There's just really a lot to see and do at the Muscatine County Fair, and it's a nice local event, so I'd encourage people to stop out and see what we have going on.
Absolutely, folks should, and we're excited about the fair that's going to be coming up, and I'll be giving away a couple more of those. Yeah, do you see these?
Yes, you have all kinds of wristbands.
We've got fun passes for kids and for adults. They're $30 value and $15 value. For the adults, 30, kids, 15, and we'll be giving away some more of those here this morning, so be sure to be listening later on. Well, Krista, thanks for joining us this morning. Is there any final things you kind of want to add?
Well, I just want to add two things. I want to remind folks that we have the Master Conservationist Program that we're going to be running this, I should say fall, but starts August 30th. But the registration deadline is August 1st, so that's just in a few weeks. And it's a 7-week course that includes some online learning and then kind of, I want to say, field trips around different places in Muscatine and Louisa County, focusing on conservation and different aspects of the environment in southeastern Iowa. And also, if you're interested and you want to know more about what the Extension does, we have started a monthly newsletter that we send out electronically, and it is posted on our website, or you can send me an email at the Extension office, and I'll add your name to it. But we're trying to get information out there about all the many things that we do. So it's another way besides for our Facebook page and our website for people to stay informed about what's happening at the Extension office.
What's going on with the Extension office. Gotcha.
Yep, exactly.
Well, that is very exciting. And there is a lot going on with the Extension office, and we love it when you guys come in here and tell us a little bit about all that you do here in Muscatine.
We appreciate it, definitely. Well, thank you, Jordan.
Yep, thank you, Krista. Joined us here this morning. Also, Krista's son joining us here this morning. You can check out don't forget, we're on YouTube as well, so you can go to The Voice Muscatine on YouTube and check out our Facebook later on, and you'll be able to watch all of these back as you see fit. So, once again, this is brought to you by Muscatine Power and Water. Mocklink is always Muscatine's fastest internet, and gigabit speed is coming. Mocklink TV beats satellite and includes video and music streaming. New subscribers save big. Even more when you bundle. Learn more at mpw.org. Once again, Krista joining us from the Muscatine Extension office here in Muscatine. Thank you for joining us here for Moving Forward on AM 860 and FM 95.1, KWPC, and the voice of Muscatine.com.